In our last class, we derived an expression for the magnetic field at a point on the axis of a circular loop of wire carrying current, and also we extended this equation to a circular coil. That means if I consider one circular coil of wire like this, or if I imagine this entire thing as equal to only one loop, then by passing the current through this coil or the loop in any one of the direction, either in the clockwise direction or in the anti-clockwise direction, then what's the magnetic field at a point on the axis? For that we derived the expression in our previous class, and we derived that expression both for the circular loop. Circular loop means only one turn of wire, and also for circular coil. Of course, this is nothing but a coil because several number of turns are there. If I imagine this entire thing as only one loop, then what is the equation for the magnetic field at a point P on the axis? Let us write the equation. This is the circular loop. I have kept the loop in such a way that the plane of the loop is perpendicular to the plane of the board or the figure. That means if this is the plane of the loop of wire, then it should be kept like this according to this figure. I have written the loop in oval shape, means this plane and board plane are mutually perpendicular to each other. Now pass the current through this loop in any one of the direction, either in the clockwise direction or in the anti-clockwise direction. So let us assume that I have passed the current in this direction, say for example anti-clockwise direction. O is the center of the loop and R is the radius of the loop. This is the axis. P is the point which is at a distance x. Now what is the magnetic field at the point P due to this circular loop of wire? So this is circular loop. Field at the point P, magnetic field at P is given by B equal to, or Bx, also I can write this as B or Bx, because why should I write x? Because the field will be always along the always along the axis. That means the field runs along the axis, means it will be along the x-axis. So to indicate that field is always along x-axis, I have written x, or else simply I can write this as B also. B equal to mu naught over 4 pi 2 pi I r square divided by r square plus x square whole to the power of 3 by 2. Okay, x is the distance from the center of the loop to the point P, smaller is the radius, I is the current flowing through the loop, and mu naught is nothing but absolute permeability of free space. Now here, if I assume the point P bit far away from O, say for example I assume the point P here, then what is x? Now x becomes the distance from O to the point P. Okay, from O to the point P. If that is the case, then what happens to r square plus x square? So if P is far away from O, that means the point at which the magnetic field is to be determined, if it is far away from the center of the loop, then x becomes large. X will be large. In such a case, what I can write means, I can write r square plus x square, r square plus x square as approximately equal to x square. Okay, say for example, if r is of, let us say, around 25 centimeter, whereas if x is of, let us say, around 2 meter, means 200 centimeter. So 25 centimeter is less when compared to 200 centimeter. Therefore I can ignore or I can neglect this r square and a whole thing r square plus x square can be taken as approximately equal to, remember, not exactly, I am approximating this, approximately equal to x square. Okay, so if that is the case, what happens to this equation now? This equation becomes now b equal to mu naught over 4 pi 2 I rewrite the term pi r square, that means I group these two together. Then r square plus x square becomes only x square. The entire thing becomes x square, but raise the power 3 by 2. 3 by 2 is there. So whole to the power of 3 by 2. 2 and 2 get cancelled. This is equal to mu naught over 4 pi 2 I. What is pi into r square? It is nothing but area of the loop. So let us consider the area of the loop as A. Then divided by x cube is there. Okay. Now here I define one definition, that means one terminology let us define. What is that means? Magnetic dipole moment. What is magnetic dipole moment? Look here. Magnetic dipole moment, which is represented by either by capital M or by small m. It is given by product of the current and area of the loop. Magnetic dipole moment here, this definition holds good for a circular loop or for a circular coil of wire carrying current, not for a magnet. So this mathematical equation holds good only for circular loop of wire or for a circular coil of wire consisting of several number of turns. So M equal to I into A. So this is the definition of magnetic dipole moment. And remember, magnetic dipole moment is a vector quantity. Then if magnetic dipole moment is a vector quantity, then what will be its direction? Let us consider like this. For example, if this is the loop, circular loop, if this face behaves like north pole, whereas this face will behave like south pole, what does it mean? If this is the circular loop in which I imagine, and if I pass the current through this loop in any one of the direction, then we know that the near face to whom? Near face to the observer. If the observer is from that side, if observer is there on this side, then for the observer this will be the near face. Then what about this back face? The back face becomes far off face. Then in such a case, one face should behave like north pole and the other face should behave like a south pole. So the polarity depends upon the direction of the current. Which pole should behave like north and which pole should be which face should behave like north pole and which face should behave like south pole. This we have already explained in our previous classes. So if this behaves as a north pole, for example, certainly the back face or the far off face behaves like a south pole. If that is the case, then the direction of magnetic dipole moment is always from south pole to north pole. Remember, not from north to south, it is from south pole to north pole. Suppose if this is the circular loop, okay, and now if this face behaves like, back face behaves like south pole, and if this near face behaves like north pole, then the direction is from south pole to north pole. That means the direction of magnetic field will be from the back face to front face. That means it will be like this, provided if this is north pole. Suppose if this behaves as south pole, then the direction of magnetic dipole moment will be from south pole to north. That means it will be from front face to the back face, provided if this is south pole. So this is how we find the direction of the magnetic dipole moment. So it is a vector quantity whose direction is from south pole to north pole. Okay, so according to this, it should be like this. Suppose if this front face behaves as south pole and if back face behaves as north pole, then the direction of the magnetic dipole moment M it will be from south pole to north pole. That means it will be like this. It all depends upon the direction of the current. Which phase behaves as north and which phase behaves as south, that purely depends upon the direction of current flowing through the loop. Now, if I substitute this into this equation, what happens to this equation now? Therefore, now B becomes equal to mu naught over 4 pi, then 2 for I into A, I can substitute that as equal to M. So, 2 into M, magnetic dipole moment, divided by x cube. Now, this equation certainly shows that it is equivalent to an electric field at a point due to a short electric dipole. So, this magnetic field equation represent what? It represent an equation equivalent to an equation of electric field at a point due to a short electric dipole. At a point means what? At a point on the axis of a short electric dipole. What is meant by dipole? Let us see to it. Two equal and opposite charges separated by very small distance is known as electric dipole. And electric dipole moment is given by PE equal to Q into 2L, product of charge and the distance between the two charges. Whereas in this case, for circular loop, what is the magnetic dipole moment? Instead of charge, what is there? Current is there. Instead of distance between the two charges, these two charges must be of same magnitude. Nature wise, they differ. If this is 5 microcoulomb, this should be also 5 microcoulomb. Only thing is this is negative charge, whereas this one is positive charge. So, in place of Q, current is there. In place of 2L, what is there? Area is there. So, this equation, let us call this as equation 1. So, equation 1 is identical to the equation of an electric field at a point on the axis due to a short electric dipole. Short electric dipole. Let us show now how this equation becomes equivalent to an equation of electric field at a point on the axis of a short electric dipole. For this, what I do means, I consider now replacement of certain terms. What are the replacement in which I am going to do in this equation? See, I replace magnetic field by means of electric field. Okay. Then I replace magnetic dipole moment M by means of electric dipole moment. What is that? PE. Then I replace one constant mu naught by 1 over epsilon naught. Epsilon naught is another constant. Absolute permeability of free space, absolute permittivity of free space. Then what happens to this equation now? Now this equation becomes now. And in fact, I can replace this in terms of vector also, because if I express this equation in the vector form, how? B is the magnetic field vector. Magnetic dipole moment is also a vector quantity. Okay. So B can be replaced by E, that means electric field, magnetic field by electric field. Magnetic dipole moment is also a vector, electric dipole moment is also a vector. So what happens to equation 1 now? Therefore, equation 1 becomes, in place of B, I write electric field E. In place of B, I write E. In place of mu naught, I write 1 over epsilon. So 1 over 4 pi. In place of mu naught, I write 1 over epsilon naught. So therefore, next, in place of M, I write PE, that is electric dipole moment, divided by x cube. Look here, electric field is there, magnetic field is there. 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught is also constant, mu naught over 4 pi is also constant. Factor 2 is there, here also factor 2. Here magnetic dipole moment is there, here electric dipole moment is there. So whereas in the denominator x cube is there. So therefore we can say that this equation is identical to the equation of an electric field at a point on the axis of a short electric dipole. Suppose if this is the short electric dipole, then this is nothing but axis. What is meant by axis? Line joining the two charges is nothing but an axis. On the axis at a point P, what's the electric field means? So this is the electric field due to the short dipole. Since this equation is identical to this equation, I am not saying that this equation is exactly equal, because here all magnetic terms are there, whereas here electric terms are there, but identical I can say, identical to this. So if this is the expression for the electric dipole, then certainly this should become an expression for magnetic dipole. That means a circular loop carrying current should certainly behave like a magnetic dipole, with one phase behaving as south pole and another phase behaving as north pole. So that's the meaning of this. So finally I can write like this. Therefore equation 1 shows that a circular loop of wire loop carrying current behaves like a magnetic dipole, So this is nothing but the meaning of this equation. So very easily here afterwards we can consider that whenever current is flowing either through a loop of wire or through a coil of wire, then that loop or coil of wire is can be considered as magnetic dipole. We know that a magnet usually has two poles. If you consider a bar magnet, one will be north pole and another will be south pole. Similarly for coil or for the loop, there exist two poles provided if we pass the current. Just as Gauss law, which is an alternative form of Coulomb's law, we have Ampere circuital law, which is an alternative form of Biot and Savart law. Ampere circuital law relates the relation between the line integral of a magnetic field, only magnetic field, not only magnetic field, line integral of a magnetic field and the current which produces this magnetic field. What is meant by line integral of magnetic field then? Look here, let us consider the simple notations. This is nothing but integral sign. So this is nothing but integral. Okay. Now, if I consider this symbol, then this is nothing but integral over a closed surface. Over a closed surface. Then, suppose if I write like this, integral of only B, that means this gives integral of magnetic field over a closed surface. Integral of magnetic field over a closed surface. You just go through the difference. Integral of a magnetic field over a closed surface. Okay. Then what about this now? B dot dl. This is nothing but line integral of magnetic field. B dot dl means dot product of magnetic field and the line element. B is the magnetic field and dl gives the line element. So dot product of B and dl along with this integral sign gives the line integral of magnetic field. Okay. Now this line integral of magnetic field, according to the statement of Ampere circuit law, this should be equal to, now that is line integral of magnetic field should be equal to mu naught times the current, mu naught times the current passing through the area bounded by a closed loop of any shape. Need not be always circular. It may be circular, it may be of square shape, it may be of rectangular shape, or even it may be of irregular shape. See, this is the statement of Ampere circuit law. I told you already. So what is the alternate law of Gauss law of electrostatics? For Gauss law, the alternate law is nothing but Coulomb's law. Okay. Then what is the alternate law of Biot and Savart law? For Biot and Savart law, alternate law is nothing but Ampere's circuital law in magnetostatics. Okay, that means it is very clear that Biot and Savart law as well as Ampere's circuital law are not independent, they are related to each other. They are identical, but the statement slightly differs. So remember, now here I consider one closed surface. This is a closed surface or a loop, circular loop. I would have written this even in this form, simplest form. Circular loop means like this, but I follow the figure of NCERT textbook. So this is one circular loop, and I written the same circular loop in this form. So let us share this so that there should not be any difference or confusion should not be there. Okay. See, this is nothing but area bounded by this circular loop. Let us reshade it. Okay. So this is nothing but loop, circular loop, and this entire thing is nothing but the area bounded by this loop. If this is the loop, this entire surface or entire space is nothing but area bounded by this circular loop. Now according to the statement, now we have gone through all this. Only integral with circle at the center, this gives integral of over a closed surface. Integral over a closed surface. Then this represent integral of magnetic field over a closed surface, and this magnetic field is produced by current, and that current should pass through the area of this loop. Remember, this is not a wire loop, it is an imaginary loop, so don't get confused. I am not considering any wire loop, I am simply considering an imaginary circular loop. So through the area of this loop, suppose if I consider the current passing like this. Now let I be the current flowing or passing through this area bounded by the loop. Okay. So if I is the current, then according to Ampere circuital law, okay, line integral. Why should I call this as line integral? Because dl gives the length of a line element. What is meant by line element? For example, over this loop, if I consider a small portion like this, small portion of the loop of length dl, then I consider this where at the point P. Say for example, this is the point P. Then at the point P, due to this current, I consider magnetic field. That means I consider tangential component of the magnetic field. This is magnetic field B. I write T. What does T represents? Tangential. Tangential means what? To this circular loop, the magnetic field direction is tangential. Suppose if you consider a loop like this, now if you draw a line, then it becomes a tangent. So this is a basic thing in which everybody knows about this. Then just look into this statement. This magnetic field is produced by what? By means of the current I, because whenever current exists, because of the current always there will be magnetic field in that space where current flows. In that region or in that space around the current there will be magnetic field. Now let us write this in a perfect form, that is line integral of magnetic field over a closed surface is equal to mu naught times the current enclosed by the area bounded by this circular loop. This is the statement of Ampere's circuital law. Mu naught times the total current. What is the total current flowing or passing through this entire area? It is taken as I, and this field is produced because of the current itself. But you consider line integral. This is integral. Why should I consider line integral? Because I have taken dl as the length of line element. Line element means small portion of the loop, small straight portion of the loop of length dl. If I write that in the vector form, then it becomes line element. What is the length of this line element? The length of the line element is dl. Then what is the magnitude of this magnetic field P? The magnitude of this magnetic field is Bt. Since dl and Bt are parallel to each other, what is the angle between Bt and dl? So angle between Bt and dl, Bt and dl is 0 since they are parallel to each other. Okay. Now suppose if I just imagine this entire loop to be made up of number of small elements like this. Here I assume one more element like this. This is the small element of length dl. Then at this point, then what about the magnetic field at this point? Look here, I consider the magnetic field like this. The magnetic field is once again tangential, so Bt. Similarly, I consider one more point somewhere here, elsewhere you can consider. Let us consider this portion as small element of length dl. Then what is the magnetic field at this point? Magnetic field at this point is found to be tangential now. So at any point on this circular loop, it is found that both dl and Bt are tangential to each other and they are also parallel to each other. So if I consider the total of Bt and as well as dl, let us write like this now. If Bt is the tangential component of the magnetic field B, and if dl is the length of the line element vector dl, then I can write like this. Bt into dl can be written as B dot dl. That means the dot product of magnetic field and the line element. Suppose if dl is assumed to be very small, elsewhere dl, if I take all this dl as very small, then for the entire loop, what I can consider for the entire loop, what is Bt into dl? I have to consider sum. For this element, Bt into dl. For this element, Bt into dl. and for this element Bt into dl, like this, Bt into dl, Bt into dl, Bt into dl, Bt into dl. I have to extend that for the entire loop. If I extend that for the entire loop, then for entire loop we can write sigma Bt dl is equal to sigma B dot dl. That means I am totaling the product of Bt and as well as dl for the entire loop. I am summing up. If I sum up this, then I can write like this. But what is sigma B dot dl? Sigma B dot dl can be written as, this is the total of line element of the magnetic field, total of line element of the magnetic field over the closed surface. Therefore, instead of writing summation sign, I write integral sign for totaling. For closed surface, I write one circle. Circle represents the closed surface. So, sigma B dot dl, that means line integral of magnetic field, can be written like this also, that is B dot dl. But according to Ampere circuital law, I write it in a short form, Ampere circuital law. What is line integral of magnetic field? This line integral of magnetic field B dot dl, this should be equal to mu naught times the current enclosed by the area bounded by the closed loop. So this simply an explanation to give one simple proof to this Ampere's circuital law. So this is nothing but mathematical explanation how we can arrive at the Ampere circuital law by dividing this entire loop into small elements that we have shown here. Remember, the Ampere circuital law can also be applied for the steady current, that means current which does not varies with the time. What are those current? Nothing but DC, direct current. Even if this current is direct current, then also we can apply Ampere's circuital law. And I already told you that Ampere circuital law relates the relation between the magnetic field and as well as current. So this current produces the magnetic field. Okay. Suppose through a closed loop, we can also consider this loop as Amperine loop. What is meant by Amperine loop? A closed loop of any shape in which current is passing through the area bounded by that loop is known as Amperine loop. Suppose if there are n currents, I consider this as Amperine loop. Closed loop in which or through which current is flowing through the area bounded by the loop. Area bounded by the loop is called Amperine loop. Okay. So we can write like this: any closed loop through which current is flowing, through the area bounded by the loop is called as Amperine loop. Suppose if I consider this current, I call this as Amperine loop. Instead of writing this figure, I have written the same Amperine loop in a simplest way. If there are n number of currents, that means this is current I, also current I, each of magnitude n, then how do we write the Ampere circuital law? Look here, this can be written as B dot dl mu naught times the current, but mu naught n times the current. So this is for n number of currents of same magnitude. This is one current, this is another current, this is one more current. So this is how we can write. We can also write this Ampere's law in one more form. Suppose if I consider an Amperean loop which is of irregular shape like this. Okay. Now I choose one small element, line element. So this is the line element of length dl. Okay. And suppose if I consider this as tangential component of the magnetic field, and I consider some currents like this, I represent the currents by means of dot mark inside the circle and cross mark. What does it represents? Say for example, this is current I1, this is current I2, current I3, current I4, current I5, current I6. So different currents are flowing through the area of this irregular loop. Okay, the direction of the current is also different. What does this symbol represent? It is nothing but the current flowing perpendicular to this surface area directed outwards. Wherever we come across dot mark, it indicates current is flowing outwards. What about cross mark? Cross mark represent the current flowing once again perpendicular to the plane directed inwards. So inward current, outward current, inward current, outward current, similarly outward, inward. Then for this loop, if I consider this as Amperean loop, how do you apply the Ampere circuital law as we have applied here? So here also we can consider one small line element. So this is the line element of length dl, and tangential to this magnetic field is there. Tangential to this Amperean loop, dt is the magnetic field. Now for this loop, how can I write the Ampere's circuital law for this Amperean loop? Means B dot dl. So dot product of magnetic field and line element, totally known as or together known as line integral of magnetic field. So it is equal to mu naught times the total current enclosed by the area of this loop. Currents flowing in one direction is taken as positive, whereas current flowing in other direction is taken as negative. Now what I do means I consider the current flowing in the outward direction as positive and current flowing in the inward direction as negative. So this should be positive, this should be negative because inwards negative, positive. So this is once again negative, positive. Okay. So mu naught times the total current. Total current means I1. Inside the loop, one more current is there, I2. It is minus I2. Then this is once again minus I3. Okay. This is positive. I4 is positive. I3 is negative. I2 is negative. Plus I4. What about these two current, I5 and I6? I do not include I5 and I6 because the Amperean loop does not encloses these two currents. These two currents are outside the Amperean loop. Therefore, these two currents should not be included in this equation, because according to the statement, line integral of magnetic field should be equal to mu naught times the total current enclosed within the Amperean loop. So therefore, the current which are present outside the Amperean loop should be neglected, it should be ignored, because according to the law it cannot be included. So this is how we can write the Ampere's circuital law for this loop. Remember, these two are just an additional information to you from the competitive examination point of view, but the simple statement is this: line integral of magnetic field is equal to mu naught times the total current. So in your examination, for board examination, only this statement will be asked, whereas these are nothing but an additional information about the Ampere's circuital law. Though Ampere's circuital law and Biot and Savart law are identical to each other, but it is found that Ampere circuital law. Ampere circuital law is more useful than Biot and Savart law because of symmetric situation. Under some symmetric situation, then it becomes very easy to derive the expression for the magnetic field using Ampere's circuital law. Say for example, in case of solenoids and as well as toroids, where we come across symmetric situation, for these two, applying Ampere circuital law, calculating or finding out the magnetic field becomes very easier. So that is why Ampere circuital law is found to be bit advantageous when compared to Biot and Savart law. Now, using Ampere circuital law, let us derive an expression for the magnetic field at a point due to an infinitely long, this is very important, infinitely long straight conductor carrying current. So, we can consider this as one of the application of Ampere circuital law, means deriving the expression for infinitely long straight conductor using Ampere circuital law forms one of the application of ACL. Now let us imagine a long straight conductor, infinitely long. What is meant by infinitely long here? Suppose all around this conductor, if I imagine one Amperian loop, whenever you want to imagine Amperian loop, there must be current. Without current, you cannot consider that loop as an Amperian loop. It should be called simply as a loop. Now suppose if I write one circular loop all around this. So this is the circular loop. Okay. If no current is passed, through this conductor, it will be treated as only circular loop. If I pass the current through this in any one of the direction, either upwards or downwards, then this can be considered as an Amperian loop. Suppose if r is the radius of the Amperian loop, small r. Now if the length of this conductor, so let us consider this as xy as a conductor. If the length of the conductor is very large compared to the radius, then certainly we can consider this as an infinitely long. Infinitely long means not according to mathematical infinity. In comparison, it will be treated as infinitely long. So the length should be large compared to the radius, very much large, then it becomes an infinitely long straight conductor. So xy is the straight conductor, okay, infinitely long straight conductor. I is the current flowing through the conductor, r is the radius of the Amperian loop, okay. So O is the center of the Amperian loop. Now at the point P, I choose one small line element. Say for example, let us consider, so dl is the length of this line element. At the same point P, I consider the magnetic field produced because of the current flowing through this conductor. At the point P, now what I do means, I consider B as the magnetic field. Okay, I do not consider tangential component directly. I consider B as the magnetic field. At the point P, it is found that dl and B are parallel to each other. B is tangential to this Amperian loop. Then dl and B are parallel to each other. If that's the case, then let us write like this: dl is nothing but the length of line element dl, then B is nothing but magnitude of magnetic field B. Okay, since I have considered Amperian loop, see this is nothing but Amperian loop, I can apply now Ampere circuital law. Now according to Ampere circuital law, what I can write? According to Ampere's circuital law, I can write that line integral of magnetic field, that means dot product of magnetic field and line element, should be equal to mu naught times the current. Mu naught times the current enclosed by the area of this Ampere loop. What is the current flowing through this entire area of this Ampere loop? I. Then mu naught I. Let us expand this. What is the dot product of two vectors? Dot product of two vectors is nothing but product of magnitude of two vectors, B into dl into cos theta. We know the dot product of two vectors can be written mathematically like this. If it is a cross product, then instead of cos theta there will be sin theta. This is equal to mu naught I. Then you know that theta is equal to 0. Why? Since dl and B are parallel to each other, so this equation now becomes integral of B dl cos 0 equal to mu naught I. Cos 0 is 1. I remove B outside the integral sign. So this is nothing but integral over a closed surface. Circle represents closed surface. This is the closed surface, Ampere loop. So B dl cos 0 means 1 equal to mu naught I. See, dl is the length of only one small element like this. So the whole Ampere loop can be imagined to be made up of number of small elements like this. Look here, this is one small element of length dl. So this is another element of length dl. So one more element of length dl. So dl like this. So if I imagine, then dl plus dl plus dl plus dl, dl plus dl plus dl plus dl plus dl. So throughout the Ampere loop, if I consider too many dl's and if I add all dl's, then I get integral of dl. Integral of dl means summing up all the dl over the entire Ampere loop. If that is the case, then what will be the value? But integral of dl is nothing but equal to 2 pi r. That means complete circular length of the Ampere loop. Circular length of the Ampere loop is circumference of the circle. Instead of writing dl plus dl plus dl, I write that as integral. Integral means sum up total of dl over the entire surface. Remember, totaling of all dl's over the entire surface, which is equal to 2 pi r. Then what happens to this equation? If I call this as equation 1 now, therefore equation 1 becomes B into 2 pi r is equal to mu naught I. We need to find B equal to mu naught over 2 pi, cross multiply entire thing, I divided by r. So this is the expression for the magnetic field at a point close to a straight conductor. The point should be close to a straight conductor, not too far. Okay. So field at P close to the straight conductor using Ampere circuital law is given by this equation mu naught over 2 pi I by r. So this is how, by making use of Ampere circuital law, we can derive the expression for the magnetic field. We make use of this magnetic field equation to find the force acting between two straight parallel conductors. So which will be done in the next, that means in the forthcoming classes. Thank you.